Good evening, everybody. How are you tonight? Oh, there's my mouse. It's good to have you here. Oh, I turned the light off in here, so it's a little dark, but that's okay. How you doing? Good to have you here. Let's see. I had to turn my sound way down. It was in my ears. It was so loud for me. So, yes, it's good to have you all here tonight. Definitely. I was fiddling around trying to switch a camera for my phone to see if I could get a little better picture for the story. But I waited too long and I should have started that plan earlier, but that's okay. Got it all taken care of. It'll do for what we're doing right now. But it's good to be here, and let's check in with the crew. Hi, Linda. Welcome. Hope your shoulder is doing well. And all of those type of things. And Tamara, I hope you are feeling better. It's good to have you here. And there is Fatima. Yay, Fatima's flipping, coming on in. It's good to have you guys here today. Who was I watching today? The Artist Haven, I think it was. She's doing junk journals. And it was fun to watch her. While I was fiddling around out in Studio G, I will show you what I'm working on and what I fiddled around with. I'll get your opinion on stuff. And yeah, so Fatima's here, Tamara's here, Linda's here, probably got a lurker or two in the background. Sometimes Lupe, Carlos might drop in. Something wrong with the connection here. Is it? Let's see. I've got my connection fine. Wrong. Oh, the camera's good. Same here. It getting a boost. Audio's breaking up. I don't understand. Hang on. Come on. There. Is that better on the audio? That should be better on the audio right there. And it's going good. It's on. Mic gain limiter. When speaking, it's okay. When you add video, it breaks up like a few weeks back. Okay, well, fortunately, we're not adding video. Yay. Okay. I will give it some. I wonder if the compressor was light on. So we'll see if that is. It's better now, yeah. Okay. I think I must have touched a button on my microphone and going to go with that. Current firmware version needs an upgrade now. All good here now. Yay. Yay. All right. Well, let's get rolling because we have... And so we're starting with Tamara, and Tamara has a piece. She says, this piece was done slapdash for live art. Seriously? You can slap me anytime, girl. I still am not feeling well. I'm sorry. It is acrylic paints slapped onto a piece of old handmade paper, waiting to be used. It was really absorbent and gave a cool effect. So this is the first one, which I am just amazed at. So crazy, so beautiful. And then hey. Okay. Well, Thanks, Carlos. I don't know if I'll be able to get it in today's show. If you send it to me, I can get it in next Sunday's show. Though, yeah, I kind of have to pull them in. Although I did make you a scene just in case. This is Tamara's. This is her slapdash piece. She used the same piece and then rotated it, which I'll show you now what she did when she rotated it. And let's see, where's my, come on, here. And mirrored it in editing, then used Paint 3D to enhance the face I see in it. Tamara, this is just extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. Yeah. We're having some pretty crazy, what could be interfering up here, I'll let you know. But from going from this, that you, as you say, slap some acrylic paint onto an old handmade paper, and then rotated it and enhanced it with Paint 3D. Wow is right. Linda has it absolutely right. It is a wow. I mean, oh my goodness. Just incredible. Just incredible, Tamara. So good. Okay, now, yes, here you see a blank book from me here, but I'm going to show you what I've been doing. So this week was one night I was sitting out in the studio, just kind of chilling out there and using some old paint, and I have these beautiful hydrangeas behind the Studio G that are really kind of cool, and I had taken a picture of. So I was just painting flowers and blackberries, because the blackberries are coming in and I wanted to kind of play with them. And then this was the practice. Was it the practice or for one of the last day of World Watercolor Month? The prompt was tower, and Diane Anton had done a stacked rocks. We do these a lot. As in later. I meant soon as in later. Thanks, Carla. Out here on the beaches of Washington, all of our beaches that are north of Mo Clips, I would say, or Dozy Wallops, or Hump Tulips. We got some great names, huh? Are rock beaches. And so people oftentimes stack rocks out there. And I have some photos that I did of them, but I just painted one. So that was that. On that one, let's see. The rest I was fiddling around with salt and leftover paint. And then this was leftover ink. Don't know what I'm going to do with that. Then today, Diane Anton had an old video of a bear, and she had this sketch available. So I used that as a reference to do this sketch. And then, because I was thinking about the bears at Katmai and the fish, and so I did a bear, gave him a scarf like she had, added trees all around, and they had him sitting in the water like waiting for the fish to come by. The bears are getting so fat this year and they're even not having to stand at the falls so much because the salmon run is so thick. It's record breaker. Here in Washington too, our sockeye run has been up. The Elwha is just like they haven't seen that kind of a run in years. So this was a kind of a fun thing I did today when I was sitting out there. And then this is what I kind of need your opinion on. It didn't show. Okay, so this is a photograph that I took of cormorants in down the bay. There's a kind of an area where the cormorants, when they nest in the trees, they nest so thickly that the trees kind of die off, and then they build these nests in, and so you get these really sections of trees where there's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cormorants, but the trees are all look like they're dead, but they've got this thing in it. So I had photographed this a couple years ago. We were out on our neighbor's boat, and I did it in black and white, and then I tried the dry pigment on it. So it had been. This is the color on this is all dry pigment rub. The green on this had been some mica powder that I had, but this new dry pigment I got, you can kind of, some of them, there's several colors. I'm trying to figure out tools. Like here, it looks kind of, I used some gold in there, but that's a dry pigment. I used the mica powder there. And I'm trying to see what to do with it. Bob kind of liked it, but this another one of my practice. This is that whole idea I have of using dry pigments on photograph. I don't know how it's going to go, but it's sure making a mess on me. So this is experimental stage. Yeah. This is the experimental stage. So this started out as a color photo. Then I switched it to black and white because it was taken in the middle of the day, which is in a cloudless blue sky day and bright sunshine. So I flipped it to black and white, and then I printed it on matte paper. Can't do this technique on glossy paper or satin because it doesn't hold. And then, yeah, this is what the trees actually look like out down there. It's pretty crazy to go in this. You'll see like beautiful evergreen trees, all completely thick, and then there's this whole swath of about 50, maybe 75 feet of trees right side by side that are just bare, but hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cormorants are nesting in them. And then when that gets done, then they move down the bay a little bit, and then the trees come back. It's pretty crazy, and all their guano is all over the trees and everything. So it's kind of crazy. All right, so that's what I did. Those are I could use a fixative on that, but I'm still working on them. So until it's all done, this is like the one I did that I showed that up of the sanctuary in Wyoming. That was the first one, and so this is the second one I've tried like this. We'll see. We'll see. It's kind of as a photograph, it was really messy. As it's something you're doing something like this, you can get away with more stuff like that. But boy, I got to figure out what tools. So one of the tools that works best for this is my old makeup brushes from when I was a makeup artist. So my old brushes that have really, really, really short bristles, like really short bristles, and are really kind of fine and were used for doing eyeliner. Yeah, that's what I used for this. And then you rub it in. We'll see. Anyway, there I am. You think they're you think they're 3D? That's cool. Thanks, guys. All right, where am I? So I didn't see. I was just gonna check my email. Nope. I don't see any other ones. All right, we're good. We're good. And I gotta let me close my mail here. Whew. Close everything that I don't need open. And quit Chrome. There we go. Close as many things as I can. Up here we have I think one of the things that's right now we've got a fair amount of smoke because that wildfire is still going. The the wind, yeah. I use hairspray. I used to use hairspray a lot um, in the classroom with stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, tonight. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like my glasses. These are kind of my fun ones. Ida Arpel or whatever that gal's name is. Got them from Zenny. Tonight's book is called The Magic Callaloo. And it is a Caribbean folktale. And one of the wonderful things about folktales is it tells the story not only of sometimes they are teaching things, but it tells culturally some things that happened. And if you follow folktales or you follow things that happened over the years, different cultures, different peoples have developed amazing different ways to signal each other in times of strife or to find their way to freedom. One of the reasons that the Irish dancing, the river dance type style, was developed, and they don't use their arms, was early on, way back when whoever was oppressing or there and they were at war with, they were forbidden to use their arms in their dances because it was felt that they were signaling the enemy or somebody and that kind of thing, and messages were being sent. So they developed their dance style and sent the signals that way through their dance steps and through things. We all know that in the Underground Railway, one of the things that happened were the signals that were done and the paths that were told by the quilts that were made by people. There were the freedom quilts and how you got to which way you went and all that kind of things. This is a story of a different kind of path that was used as a road to freedom. And I found it just fascinating. It takes a while to get to that point of what was used, but it is a lovely story. I'm soft tonight. My voice is soft. Let's move it up. Try that. How's that? Is that better? And let's sound settings. Get my output volume up. I'll push that up. There. And there. Okay. So this book is called The Magic Callaloo. And it is by Trish Cook and Sophie Bass. Trish Cook is the author of So Much, illustrated by Helen Oxenbury, as well as many other books for children. She's also a playwright who has created various retellings and adaptations of children's fairy tales, including the Oliver Award-nominated Cinderella. She lives in northern England. And Sophie Bass is the illustrator of Windrush Child by John Eggard, and she draws inspiration from her mixed British and Trinidadian culture heritage from music, social justice, mythology, and symbolism. She works by hand, employing traditional techniques with gouache and pen to create contemporary images characterized by strong figures, vivid colors, and a distinctive style. She lives and works in London. And you can see already the colors and whatnot on this. One of the things I like about this, a note from the author, is not only the outside edge and the colors, but how in the text she'll use capitals. She says, note from the author, I've always loved the fairy tale Rapunzel, which is kind of, I did not connect this with Rapunzel when I first read it. About a girl who is taken from her parents and locked in a tower. then uses her hair as her quest to escape. My idea for a story of captivity and freedom stretches far beyond fairy tales to my own African ancestors, whose forced relocation is very real for me. The magic callaloo was inspired by the stories I've heard of Africans who made patterns in their cornrowed hair and used them as maps to escape their enslavers. I've been told that some hairstyles recorded the obstacles that they would encounter en route, with cornrows representing the roads they should follow. The number of braids indicated how many roads they needed to walk or the exact place to meet someone who would help them on their journey. Sometimes gold or seeds were hidden in the cornrows to help them survive after they escaped. My tale, the magic callaloo, pays homage to my ancestors and the roads they walked to freedom. The magic callaloo. Long, long ago, somewhere far, far away, a large callaloo plant grew in the center of a small village square. Its leaves were big and lush and green, and they spread out wide and tall, like huge fingers reaching up to the sun. No one knew how the plant had gotten there. It just always had been. The villagers watered and nurtured the callaloo plant, and as they did so, more leaves grew. The more they loved them and looked after the plant, the more it flourished. For this was no ordinary callaloo plant. The plant was magical. When a villager ate one of its leaves and made a wish, their wish came true. The villagers had everything they needed and everything they wanted. However, in the village lived a greedy, selfish man, and he wanted more than everything. He wanted all. He wanted all for himself. One day the greedy man decided to steal the plant so he could have all the wishes. He waited for nighttime. Then, when all the villagers were asleep, he crept into the village square and uprooted the plant. He plucked a leaf from the stalk, ate it immediately, and made a wish. "I wish to have this plant all to myself," he said, clutching the callaloo tightly. And suddenly, the wicked man found himself between somewhere and nowhere, alone. Then, stuffing more leaves in his mouth, he said, "I wish for the biggest house with fancy ornaments. I wish for a huge farm on acres of land. I wish for lots of farm animals, so many, the most. I wish for a barbed wire fence to surround my land. I wish for dragons and snakes to guard my magic callaloo." And he greedily ate more and more callaloo leaves. He wished for more and more things. And all his wishes were granted. He had the biggest house with fancy ornaments, a huge farm on acres of land, lots of animals, so many, the most, and a barbed wire fence surrounding his land, dragons and snakes guarding the callaloo, and much, much more. The wicked man ate and wished, and ate and wished, until he had so many things he could hardly move. He grew lazier and lazier and spent more and more days lying in his hammock, eating and drinking all the food and drink he wished for. So lazy was he that he didn't water or nurture the callaloo, and the plant grew smaller and smaller as fewer and fewer leaves grew on it. Soon, there was only one leaf left. Down in the village, no one knew where the magic callaloo had gone. Without the plant, to grant their wishes, the villagers had to do more for themselves. They helped one another too. Most were content with their new way of life, but living in the village were a husband and a wife, Mr. and Mrs., who were very unhappy. Mr. and Mrs. didn't have any children, and more than anything in the world, they longed for a child. If only the magic callaloo had not been stolen, said Mrs. I could wish for a child, but it wasn't to be. And the days were long, and she remained very unhappy. Mr. did not like to see his wife unhappy. Every night, when the wife was asleep, Mr. would sit by the fire under the moon, worrying about her. If only we could get our hands on the magic callaloo once more, he thought. One evening, while Mr. was sitting under the moon contemplating, a wise old woman appeared from nowhere. Now, this wise woman knew everything about anything, and she told Mr. that she knew where the magic callaloo was. She told him how a wicked, greedy man who had once lived in the village had stolen the plant, and how the man had eaten most of it and his wishes had come true. But, she said, the man was lazy and did not water or nurture the magic callaloo, and so it had gotten smaller and smaller, and now there was only one callaloo leaf left on the stalk. Then I must find it so we can make it our wish, said Mr. Tell me where it is. But the wise old woman told Mr. that the man had put a barbed wire fence around the land, and that it was impossible to get to the plant because the last callaloo leaf was guarded by dragons and snakes. Mr. immediately woke his wife and told her what the wise woman had said. Though Mrs. was half asleep and the wise woman was no longer anywhere in sight, holding on to a smidgen of hope, Mrs. told her husband that they should go and find the last callaloo leaf, no matter what. Mr. agreed. They packed a small bag, grabbed their axes, and set off. They searched and they searched, but their search was in vain, and soon they were lost. As night fell, the couple stopped to rest their aching feet at a crossroads between somewhere and nowhere, and a strange bird, flapping its wings, caw-cawed above them. As they followed it through with their gaze, the bird rested on a tall, barbed wire fence. Through the fence they saw dragons and snakes, just like the wise woman had told Mr. And there in the center of acres of farmland was a meager-looking callaloo stalk with only one callaloo leaf left. There it is, said Mrs. And without a second thought, she cut through the barbed wire fence with her axe. Then Mr. and Mrs. bravely fought the dragons and snakes with all their might, until Mr. finally defeated the last dragon, and Mrs. slew the last snake. They grabbed the last callaloo leaf and ran and ran and ran, paying no mind to where they were going, but making sure that they were as far away from the village as possible, in case the wicked, greedy man should return and find them. When their legs were too tired to run any further, they stopped. Mr. and Mrs. found themselves in the good place. Mrs. sat down and ate the last leaf from the magic callaloo, and together she and Mr. made their wish. We wish for a child. And before long, Mrs. had a baby, a little girl. We'll call her Lou, Mrs. said happily, and Mr. agreed. Mr. and Mrs. made themselves a lovely home in the good place, and their daughter Lou grew to be a fine young girl. She had beautiful hair, with luscious afro-curly locks, and the more her parents loved and cared for her, the more her healthy, shiny coils and curls grew out and far and wide, reaching for the sun. Lou was a kind-hearted child, and Mr. and Mrs. loved her beyond measure. And when she was old enough to understand, they told her the story of the magic callaloo, how they had wanted a child so much that they'd slain dragons and snakes to have her. They told her how Mrs. had eaten the last leaf of the magic callaloo and made a wish, and how their wish had come true. When Lou heard her story, she was so intrigued by that, every day she went about her business, she would sing out in celebration of how she had come to be. Lou, Lou, wishes do come true. I'm the last of the magic hallelujah. This worried Mister. Hush, my sweet, he would say. Not too loud. You never know who might be listening. Leave her alone, his wife would say. She is singing because she is happy. Perhaps we should keep her indoors so she will be safe, Mister told his wife. But Mrs. would not hear of it. A girl must be free to do as she chooses, said Mrs. Stop fussing, stop worrying. But Mister did worry. He worried that the wicked man would come and then take his Lou away. The worry ate at Mister, and he became sick, so sick that Mrs. had to care for him day and night. She had no time for anything else, and this meant Lou was free to do as she chose, and Lou enjoyed her freedom. She would go for long walks and sing all day. Lou, Lou, wishes do come true. I am the last of the magic hallelujah. And so sweet was her voice, every creature would join in with her song in celebration of her life. One day, a strange man was passing through the good place. It was the wicked man who had stolen the callaloo from the village square many years before. Since the plant had been taken from his land, he had not rested. He had spent his days angrily wandering in search of the thief who had taken it. When he heard Lou's song, he saw how her lustrous locks grew out and far and wide, reaching to the sun, just like the branches of the callaloo. He immediately knew what had happened. The person who had stolen the last callaloo leaf must have used the wish to make the child, and here she was, a bright and as ripe as the plant itself. You're coming with me, he snarled. And in a second, the wicked man snatched Lou away. Let me go, Lou screamed. But the wicked man would not let her go, and the more she kicked and punched him, the tighter he held on to her. The man took Lou along a winding road and curled around and round with many twists and turns. They went up hills and down valleys, across crisscross bridges, through a forest and onto zigzag paths until they reached the big house on the farm with acres of land. This is your home now, he said. I may not have the magic callaloo anymore, but I have you, and you will serve me as the callaloo once did. I will command you, and you will do as I say. Well, by now the wicked man's house was messy, the walls needed painting, the roof needed fixing, the fancy ornaments were all dusty, and the farmland was overgrown with vines, and the farm animals were neglected. And the wicked man made Lou take care of all those things as well as the cooking and washing. And when Lou tried to escape, the roads were too curly and twisty and crooked, and the trees in the forest too thick for her to find her way home. And the wicked man would catch her and drag her back to the farm. For months and months and years, Lou worked and worked for the man, and as she worked, she became sadder and sadder. But the birds and animals cared for her. They sang and danced and played around her as she did her chores, trying to make Lou smile. They liked it when she smiled, for when Lou smiled, the colors in the day seemed brighter. The sound of their song was sweeter, and the scent in the air was purer. Their song reminded Lou who she was and not to give up. But though she enjoyed their play, Lou found it hard to smile. She missed her mother and father and her home so much. And Mr. and Mrs. missed her too. Since she disappeared, they had not stopped searching for her, but as the years passed, they had grown older and more weary until they began to accept that they might never see their daughter again. Lou grew to be a fine young woman. Her hair was even bigger and fuller, with glorious coils and curls, so healthy and bright and beautiful. The wicked man hated Lou's hair. He said it slowed down her work, got in the way. So he would cut it short, but Lou's hair would grow back thicker and longer than before. This made the wicked man vexed, but there was nothing he could do about it. Then one day, a wise old woman The same one who had met Lou's father many years before saw Lou weeping outside the wicked man's house. "Why are you crying?" she asked. Lou was startled. She hadn't seen the wise woman approach. "I've been forced to work for this wicked man," she said, "and I want to go home." "So why don't you?" asked the woman. "Because I don't know the way," Lou said. And just then the wicked man, who had been sleeping in his hammock, woke from his nap and came over to them. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am no one from nowhere in particular," said the wise woman. "I was just passing and saw your daughter. She has the most beautiful hair." "She's not my daughter," said the wicked man, "and her hair is a nuisance. It gets in the way of her work. Even when I cut it, it grows back fuller and stronger." "Oh, then let me braid it," said the wise old woman. And the wicked man looked at her suspiciously. "And what will you want in return?" "Nothing," said the wise woman. "I am weary, and if I can just sit for a while on your doorstep, that is enough payment." And the wicked man was pleased with this, and he sat on the doorstep and called the wise woman to sit beside him. "Very well," he said. "Go ahead." Lou sat between the knees of the wise woman and rested her elbows on her thighs. And the woman took a small bottle of oil from her purse and poured it on Lou's head. And then with her fingers she massaged the oil into Lou's scalp. The wicked man watched all of this while making sure that the woman had not come to steal Lou away. The wise woman combed the tresses of Lou's hair with a comb made of maple wood until the tangled hair was loose and flowing. She made partings on Lou's head and twisted Lou's hair around her arthritic fingers, making neat, shiny, braided patterns. Every line was marked with tenderness, love, and care. Crooked zigzag markings, crosses and crosses, lines going down and up with bends and turns, braided round and round to a central place where all the loose braid tails were twisted into one neat ball at the top. Then the wise old woman tapped the comb gently on Lou's head and said, "Done." And when the wise woman leaned forward to stand up, she whispered in Lou's ear softly so the wicked man couldn't hear, "Your hair will lead you home." Lou didn't understand what the woman meant until she looked in the mirror and saw what the wise woman had done. The beautiful rows of braids on Lou's head made a pattern that looked familiar. Right outside the wicked man's house were crooked zigzag paths, just like the zigzag markings on her head. The wise woman had given Lou a message, a secret way out. Maybe if she traced her fingers over the rows on her head and followed the paths with her feet, she would find her way home. That night, when the wicked man was asleep, Lou crept out of bed and down the stairs and out of the big house. The full moon lit her way, and Lou followed the zigzag paths that were exactly like the markings on her head. She went through the partings in the trees, like the ones in her hair, and then she came to the first crisscross bridge. She traced her fingers over a criss and a cross in her hair to find where it led. Then she followed the road until she reached more twisting roads like the twists in her hair. She followed the bends and turns in the braids with her fingers, and she did the same with her feet on the road, stepping down the hills into the valleys and up the hills on the other side, so the swirly, curly road that went round and round and round and up and up and up. And from there she could see her mother and father tending their garden in the good place. With a sharp intake of breath, Lou said to herself, "I'm home," and she ran down the hill to meet them. Mr. and Mrs. could not believe what they were seeing. "Lou, is that you?" screamed Mrs. "It's her," cried Mr., rubbing his eyes. "It's Lou. She's come back to us." Without another thought, Mr. and Mrs. ran to meet Lou, their hearts bursting with love and happiness. And as they hugged her, a tiny seed fell from Lou's hair and took root in the soil below. A new magic callaloo waiting to be loved and nurtured. As for the wicked, greedy man who wanted all to himself, he remained between somewhere and nowhere. And the big house and the farm became so overgrown with vines that he was never seen again. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And that is the magic callaloo. Hey, Lupe's here. Nice to have you here, Lupe. Oh, yay. Vibrant and beautiful. Yes, they are. I'm glad. I hope the sound got better as I went along there. Yay. Fatima, Carlos, yes. Heard some awesome stories from Aka. Yes, Jack Ayak's mother. I love this one. I have a friend who is a master at braiding. She often goes to fashion shows all over the world, actually, and they bring her in to do the braiding for people's hair. And she's done some pretty famous people's hair as well as that. And so last year she went to Milan to do Milan Fashion Week. And I think that this would be a book that she would love. Lively full page, yeah. I'm hope. Just like the culture, yeah. The rich colors of the Caribbean culture is just wonderful. I thought it was a cool book. A little bit longer than ones I've done before. And thank you. Although one of the things there were parts of it that I thought could have been this would be a story that if I was reading it to a classroom, there were sections of kids that would be really hard for them to not get fidgety. And it took a little while for them to get to the part about, to some of the meat of it. But it's still a great story. Did it again. It's captivating. Anyway, I switched scenes. I wonder if it flipped on that. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. I will be back on Thursday with more story and art. I might have flipped cameras around. We'll see what we're doing. And tomorrow, Aldo has a buddy coming over for a while. Bailey's coming to play. And yeah, so it's been great. I thank you for being here. Thanks for sending in your artwork. And don't forget to send in stuff for next week if you can. And to images by Gretchen at iCloud.com. And I will hope you guys have a great week. It's wonderful to have my bucket filled by having you here. And we will see you then. So until next time, everybody, thanks so much for being here for Story and Art. And keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around you. But the first place you'll find it is when you go look in your mirror. And I'll see you next time.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights inside. you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could be famous. We could be famous. You blow my mind, looking like a model, better than the usual. Yeah, you don't even try, not average or typical. I put you on a pedestal.